So it's January and I'm not messing around with any of this new year, new me type of stuff, but there are a few things that I do kind of want to get a little more organized about, and January is the perfect time to start. I thought today we could jump into a little bit of organizing our crochet year. So I've got a couple free PDFs that I've designed. They're Canva links. They're free for you, and I'll have the link down in the description box if you would like to print any of these off. So let's just jump right on into it. The very first one I've got here is the annual crochet gift planner for holidays and birthdays. And this is a 12-month square grid. I will have some footage I will pop up beside me, but I've got a little place here for the year, so I need to add in 2024. So this is something you could print out as many as you want. And I went through here and just added a couple things, like got a birthday down here in May with a couple ideas, possibly a crochet bag or a summer scarf, a couple things. But I wanted you to be able to see kind of what I'm doing on mine. And then in August, I've got another birthday down here, and I put pillow with a question mark. And this is more of just, I would call this a little bit of a brain dump, but also a little bit of planning ahead. So just so you know, birthdays or holidays don't sneak up on us. I do have a Christmas planner, and I did a whole video on that. Since Christmas just happened, I probably won't link that, but you can find it if you want. But I was able to get all of my Christmas projects done because I went through and kind of organized and planned and figured out what I wanted to do ahead of time. And I just don't want something to sneak up on me. That's not to say events where I need a gift for won't pop up, because they certainly might, but this does just give me kind of an at-a-glance look, so I know. I mean, you might want to put in here, you know, Mother's Day. Maybe you want to make your mom a couple tea towels, or, you know, Father's Day, maybe some can koozies might be cute. You know, just different things like that that aren't even big. You could add those on here, and that also gives you time to kind of look at this and say, okay, I know in July I will want a Father's Day gift, so I'm going to start looking on Pinterest or YouTube or wherever now and kind of see what patterns might be available for me. So again, this is more of just an at a glance, so you can add your holidays and birthdays and some potential ideas of what you would like to do for those people. And I think I'm actually going to be putting these in a binder together. I do have my yearly review sheet. I do have a video. I will link to this if you're interested in doing one of these. I have my 2023 year in review, and it's got some accomplishments, some highlights, some setbacks, and a few other things. I'll bring that up here if you want to take a look at that. I will have that video linked, and it has the link to that sheet. But I thought, how cool would it be then to put the year in review after all of these things and just be able to look back if you want to take any pictures and print them out instead of like Instagram or something digital. You could definitely do that and have like a whole little book. So let's move on to the second sheet. I've got two more general sheets to go over, but if you are a content creator, stick around because I've got a third one after this, and I think that might also help you out too. So I've got a 2024 crochet goals. This isn't something set in stone at all, but these are just, they're goals. They're things I'd like to achieve, but I'm not going to be devastated if I don't. And I should take a moment here because someone brought up kind of an important comment on my yarn in review video, and she had asked just about you know, planning out the year. These are just kind of, I don't want to say the bare minimum of projects I want to do, but it's like a guideline. It is something I can reference. It is not a set in stone. These are exactly the projects I'm going to do, and I won't do anything else because, you know, this person had commented, you know, what do you do when a cool pattern shows up? And it's like, yeah, I definitely stray. I totally stray. I definitely want to do the new cool thing, not the boring old thing. So that is definitely something where, yes, so I'm setting goals. I'm setting plans for the year, but this is not limiting me in any way to what crochet projects I'm going to be doing, or that I can do, or that I can't do. And at any given point, I can literally just cross off whatever I put on here and write something else, or print out a new sheet and fill it out differently. That is just fine. Changing your mind is 100% okay at any point. If you're not sure about that and you want to know more, I will put a link to my temperature blanket video and how that went and how I drastically changed my mind, and I don't feel bad about it. But let's get back to this 2024 goals sheet. So I've got new projects to start. And with that, I've got my crop hexagon cardie and the mesh duster. And I talked about these in the video I did recently where I got my Hirschner's yarn. So I've got an area for that. I've got an area here of new stitches to learn. I had said in my year in review that I felt like 2023, I didn't stretch myself in that aspect. So I did a lot of projects, but I wasn't really stretching myself to learn new stitches. The projects I did had a lot of stitches I already knew, just arranged differently. That is something I have not filled out yet, and I really want to go through and scour YouTube a little bit more and just kind of look and see what I might want to learn, and I'll just write the stitch down. So I also have an area here of goals to use certain yarns, so yarns to use. I think this is important just so things don't get like too stale and stagnant in there, and I do have a few yarns that I want to use and kind of bump them up to the front of my list. So I had done a video on ordering some ice yarn without paying for the shipping. If I can link that video either above or down in the description. I'd kind of like to do a follow-up video for that and just do projects out of the ice yarn. I think it would be kind of neat to show what the yarn is and show it worked up, since a lot of us haven't ever ordered from ice yarns before. I'm just always curious about stuff that I can't really readily get my hands on, so I figure you might be too. And then another one is Drops yarn. I had ordered from Drops yarn. I ordered from the Laughing Hen, and that is in the UK, and again, I'll link the video above or below. It was kind of a fun haul. Drops yarn is known to be a little bit like nicer quality, but for a lower price. So that video has, you know, all the prices I paid and what I got and the shipping. There are some things looking back that I just should have ordered more of. So I will probably have to add a few of my own yarns to these projects as well, to, you know, get them into a complete project. But again, the Drops yarn isn't something that most of us have a ton of access to without, you know, ordering from overseas. I thought that would be fun to work up all those projects and show those. And then the last yarn is, I have a handful of velvet yarns here, and a lot of you have found my channel through my velvet yarn video and how I paired that with the Hirschner's Afghan yarn, make it workable and pleasant to work with and look nice and not end up wormy. Since so many people have found my channel through that video, I thought it might be fun to go through my velvet yarn stash, work up some more different projects, and just kind of show some other projects you can make with velvet yarn, because I think, you know, it's fun. It feels luxurious, but then we don't always know what to do with it. Those are the three, and I mean, I guess that's a lot more than 3 yarns, but the 3 types of yarns that I want to prioritize using. And then I've got an area here for patterns to use, and mine is still blank right here, because again, like I said, I just kind of want to go through and really kind of look around before hastily just filling them in. So I also have an area here for gifts to make, and this does kind of go along with that last sheet that I showed you, but maybe, you know, maybe this isn't your thing and you don't want a year at the glance. This just has an area with 5 lines of just different gifts to make. And, you know, I put my daughter, and then I put a gift here in case she's watching. I'm not going to say what that is. And then I put an area down here of items to donate. I've got a couple different things here because I do think it is important. If you know you're probably never going to use a yarn. You know, it's not like so much where you have a yarn and you love it, you just don't know what to do with it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a yarn that you pick up and you just go, ugh. Like maybe you don't like the texture, maybe you don't like working with it, maybe you frogged it a bunch of times. You know, maybe you just, I don't know, you feel icky about it for some reason, and that is okay. I think it's kind of important to go through and declutter a little bit and find someone who will enjoy some of these yarns. And I know I talked about this before, but I'm going to be going through some of my yarns and finding some of the brighter ones that I have that, you know, maybe I've bought over the years and, you know, just don't kind of fit the vibe I'm going for now, because one of my goals is to make more like wearable projects for me this year. You know, I know like I'm not a very pastel-y type person. I'm not a neon person. So, I mean, those are all very pretty yarns, but you know, it just doesn't really go with what I'm going for. So I am going to be going through some of those to put in a bag for my friends' granddaughters who are, actually doing a very good job learning to crochet. I can give those to a better home, and these gals can definitely use them, whether for practice or for projects. It doesn't matter to me. It's definitely time I can sort some out so that I do have room for more stuff that I do love. And then the other thing that I have down here on things that I want to donate are, I need to go through some of my bags of FOs. I've got finished objects that I had made and didn't like quite know what to do with. If you have been around my channel for, you know, since I started 1.5 years ago, you'll know I kind of started out doing more finished object videos. The main problem I ran into that was I felt a little bit like I was getting on a hamster wheel, where I was just like, gotta crochet, gotta crochet, gotta crochet. Was making things just to use up the yarn and to have something to show. It wasn't really stuff that you know, I would need or want or wear or whatever. And then it just leaves you like with bags of FOs. I think that I can definitely go through and find some of my sweaters, hats, stuff like that. And depending on what they're made out of, you know, if I made them out of a little bit nicer yarn, I might check with some of my family, see if they want some of these items. Or, you know, if it's something that's more of a budget yarn or something very, very basic, I might just donate them. They're literally not doing me any good sitting in bags here, and it is cold out and it is the Midwest. So if someone else can benefit from these, wonderful. So that's my 2024 crochet goals for the year. Well, let's move on to the next one. This one I do not have filled out yet here, but this is the project planner. You can print out as many of these as possible for whatever project. I'll try to have some video going beside me here of a close-up. It's just got an area for the project name, the pattern. So if I was getting this one off of YouTube, I would put like the title of the YouTube video, or if it's a written pattern, you know, just fill that in too. But like I said, if it's not something you have a paper copy in front of, I would probably write down where the pattern is located at as well. Hook. Because how many times have you put a whip in a bag and used the hook for something else, and then you have no idea if you used the correct hook size that the pattern or the yarn called for? I've done that for sure. So I did put that down, and I would also put down, because some of them do crochet a little bit different. So this is a plastic Susan Bates. So it's the inline right here. And you can kind of see that. You know, that's going to crochet different. This is I think this is a 10. Yeah, this is a 10 millimeter hook. You know, this is going to crochet differently than the boy, where it's got the more like rounded head on the crochet hook. So I would put down plastic Susan Bates just so that my tension is the same You could put these in a binder as well for projects that you haven't started, but you can also take them out of the binder and put them in a whip bag if you're going to be storing it for a while before you come back to it. But it's got a space here for the yarn and amount needed. So if you needed 2 Caron cloud cakes, I would put that down. And I would also put the colorway. This is Cinnamon Swirl. I would put that down. If I already have the yarn, I would just write it down. But if I'm going off of a pattern that's calling for a specific yarn and I'm going to do that with the pattern, I would write down what I need to use right here. So I would put down 2 Caron cloud cakes. Or if I had one and I needed one more, you know, I'd have 2 over here in the needed, and then I would have 1 in need to purchase. Maybe I need a 4mm crochet hook and I don't have one, I would put that down here as well. Or if there was any type of accessory that you might need to finish this project, do you need a pom-pom? Do you need a button to attach the pom-pom? Do you need like a purse handle? Anything like that, I would put that down here in the to buy if I did not have it already. I've got an area here for progress trackers. So this is great once you start. I've got quite a few lines here, especially if you're going to be putting your project and working on it intermittently. If you want to write down the last thing you did here, you know, and check that off so that you know what step you need to start with next. That is exactly why I did that, because I have also done that multiple times where I come back and I cannot figure out where I left off. So a lot of lessons learned went into this. And I've got an area here for changes to the pattern. Most of us do that, I think, a little bit. Some of us are good at sticking exactly with a pattern and having it work out just right, but I definitely put this down because I've often think, I'll remember that. And I, in fact, do not remember whatever it is I said I was going to remember. So if this is something where this project turned out real well and I want to do it again, I'll know the change I made to the pattern right there. And this is great if you store written patterns, you know, when you print them out, and you could slide this in right there with the pattern. So you know, if you want to do it again, you can pull it out and see how your progress went on that. And then just a tiny area here for notes as well, in case you need to write anything else down. So as promised, I do have an extra sheet here for any content creators. This doesn't just really have to be for videos. If you have an Instagram account or you're wanting to start an Instagram account related to your crochet, you could definitely do this too. Some of it would not apply, but some of it could definitely be work to apply. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about a video that I have kind of in my mind in the works, but have not actually started here. I get a fair amount of views and questions from my finger knitting video, basically reviewing a finger knitted blanket that I did a year later and how it held up, kind of like what I did and didn't like about it. I have gotten a good amount of feedback, and the feedback is try it again, use a better quality yarn. I think I'm going to do that. Project here is finger knitted blanket redo. My goal I have right up here is revisit a popular video on my channel. I'm going to make the video quality better because a year has gone by and I have learned about the settings on my phone more. I've learned a little more, quite a bit more about editing. Thank you to everyone who has stuck with me along the way with some of my crazy editing. But that's something I didn't know anything about before I started this. So it's a whip. It's a work in progress. Make a better quality video, use better yarn, and have a better technique, all resulting in better results. So that is my video goal. And then I've got supplies here. So I think that I'm going to need 5 skeins of a jumbo yarn, which I have because I do kind of want to use some stash yarn. It's some yarn bee that I have that is like a white and tan, and that is a better quality than the mainstays I had used. But I do think I'll need 2 more skeins And I think that what I'm going to do, because this is a tan and a white, is go back to Hobby Lobby and get just a plain like cream or tan to go around the outside, because I had gotten those during either a dye lot sale or a clearance sale. So I'm not going to be able to get the kind I have, and I don't want to try to match up. So I think just doing a coordinating color is going to make a difference. And then I'm going to also need my jumbo hook. I put an area here for posting date, and whether that's tentative or set in stone, I put January 19th, and I will revisit that. You know, I may be putting other content out before them, I don't know, but that would be like my target date. So then I have a section here. These things here would all be great if you're just doing Instagram or Facebook, and not just videos. This back end work section here is going to be mainly for YouTube. So after it's filmed, I have an area here you can check mark that you edited it, uploaded it, that you added info cards, that you added your end screen, that you filled out the description, and if your channel is monetized, that you went in and placed the ads where you want them instead of just where YouTube puts them. I have that section there, and you can check those off as you go. And you know what? If this stuff isn't important to you, that's totally fine too. Down here under important notes, a section for title. And I like to kind of be brainstorming the title as like before I really get started, so I kind of have an idea. I put better results following your advice. It doesn't mean I have to stick with that, but that's kind of the direction I want the title to go. And then I've got an area here for my thumbnail idea as well, because I like to, when I'm filming and getting ready to film, I like to work on making that thumbnail as well. I like to do that beforehand, like as I sit down, I like to do that. So some thumbnail ideas I have is me holding up the old one versus the new one. And then now keep in mind, I'm hoping it's a success, but I thought I could have the word up above saying finger knit success. So there it is. There is my crochet video planner if you are a content creator who is interested in adding a little bit more structure and planning to your videos. And if you are not a content creator, I hope you would use and enjoy these other project planners that I have, keeping in mind they are just guidelines. You are not married to these plans, but if you are a person who wants to add a little bit more structure this year, get rid of a little less stress so you don't have events sneaking up on you, these might help you out. Thank you so much for joining me today and talking yarn with me. I will have a video up here that I think you will like. Bye guys.